at TCC IRL. And so we're here today to talk about amazing things. And I was just commenting on how springy and summery her shirt looks. Mac the cat is here to join us as well because he's not being cooperative in terms of not showing his butt. So we're gonna just do our best to work around it today, as always. Yeah. So you were just saying you would live in summer like Olaf all the time.
I would. I have an obsession with flamingos. And I just got this yesterday. My kids had a book fair at school, and I was like, oh, look, flamingo pen for mom.
I love it. Yeah, I would live in summer all the time too, until I got to Wisconsin summer, and it's like really hot and muggy, and there's no beach. To me, like you have to have hot and muggy and beach. Or if there is beach, it's like really, really, really windy. So it's not as I have not discovered the perfect place, but I lived in Costa Rica for a while, and that was like I could just live. I could do this forever, like beach, heat.
I would love that. I grew up in Florida, so I love the beach and the heat. Like if you're at the beach or a pool, the heat is amazing. If you're like in dress clothes going to work, it's not so much.
Yeah, well, I never had to function like as an adult when I was there because I was officially in college. And I did, like I went to school while I was there. It wasn't just like, quote, but there was a lot of field trips to the beach and there was a lot of, immersion experiences.
I love that. I wanted to do something like that in college, but I didn't get the chance.
I think I started out in school in Oregon and it was a lot of money because I was out of state tuition. But when I went back home, to Alaska, it was free because of a scholarship that I had. So I was like, I was able to go do some of these things. It wasn't necessarily always the college experience that I wanted, but like the free factor made it really, really attractive because then I could go do stuff like that. But awesome. it gets expensive. Like things are expensive. like an adult that I get to say that now.
Yeah, I'm still paying for my college education. Hopefully this year it'll be paid off. And I've been out for quite some time now.
Probably about as long as, I think we're probably about the same age. Yeah. So you were just telling me too, you launched your website. What was that like?
Yeah, so crazy. It's been a very interesting journey because, and actually somebody in the TCC group the other day asked this, do I start with my name as my brand? Do I have a business? What is my URL? And so when I started, let's get my name. Let's just put it out there. So I've been putting everything there. And this year, actually, I finally found a business name that I liked. And it's called Wild Brand Creative. And it's all built around my little flamingo. And so, I just launched wildbrandcreative.com maybe a month and a half, 2 months ago, and got the LLC set up and all of the officialness is happening now. So
congratulations. That's huge. I have still not set up a website under my business name. And so I feel like I have, maybe this is what we can talk about, but I have this brand dichotomy because people know me as Erin Pennings, which makes sense. It's my name after all, but my brand is CopySnacks and my business is CopySnacks. So I own all the URLs, and they all point towards erinpennings.com, but I'm just like, I don't know. This is not a question that I have ever been able to answer. And I can tell other people what to do, but I can't do it for myself. And it's like, oh, what's there is great. I like my website. It's just like, is it branded right? I don't know.
I'm the exact same way. I think, and that's really where I focus all my efforts is just helping people do that because it's so hard to do it for yourself.
Why do I want to make these decisions?
Right.
And put it off another day. What I have is awesome and it's working.
Yes. And I second guess everything. I'm hypercritical of myself and I'll make something and be like, no, this is terrible. I'm never publishing it. And it's just like nothing ever gets done. But for other people, you can do it all day. But when it's yourself, And I think another thing that led me to finally push the business brand is I did I took a corporate job as a day job. That really brings out some of the skills that I used to use it's really internal communications, employee communications. So I'm a consultant with this company over here. And I thought, you know what? I think it will be nice to kind of separate, to have my name and my brand as just sort of a personal blog, podcast. I don't really have to define it. And then as I am working on business on the side, it can be its own thing.
I like that. I think that's smart. I think the challenge will be to make sure that you're showing up.
Yes.
Because it's very, very hard while you're running a business to try to show up two places, or, to two audiences in two ways. And now there's cat hair floating around my face. But and that's the challenge that I've run into, like, super candidly in the last 6 months as I've developed courses. And it's like the audience for those is totally different than the audience that I do work with. The one-on-one work. So how do I balance that? So I don't know. Like, I don't think there's an answer. I think it's just choose a priority and stick with it.
Yeah. I think for me, I've discovered the way my brain works is I do really well if I'm a procrastinator. I'll just put it out there. I like to work in short bursts of, okay, I got this project. Let me focus all my energy. Let me get it done. So the way I've sort of structured when I take on clients is I just take on very, very, very few at a time, so I can have the bandwidth to, show up as a consultant in my day job. And then this is really my creative outlet, and to be able to bring out that creativity and that artistry in a very focused short burst.
So talk to me a little bit about what that creative focus is. I'm super curious about, where you've decided to focus all your energy.
Yeah. So I am helping small business owners, solopreneurs, consultants to bring out their brand, to really figure out what their brand is, what's your brand messaging, what do you want people to know about you? And it's similar to what we were talking about. It's so hard to do it for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I love to do is have a conversation with a client and just let them talk about themselves. And as they're talking, I sort of start picking up on things that we can really focus on their website and their website copy. That's really where I focus everything, is website copy and design. And
right, because you do the design as well. I remember this conversation now. There are so many things going through my head, and yeah. So you're like the one-stop shop, which I think is super cool.
Yeah, it's interesting because I've sort of always been that in the roles that I've had over the years. So it was sort of a natural progression when I was first pursuing the copywriting route. And most people just do the writing. And I thought, well, I like to design. So how can I bring that in there to where I'm not having to just do one or the other all the time, where I can offer one or the other or both together. And this was really, I think, the perfect outlet.
Well, and I think that's so cool. The idea of, I was just having this conversation yesterday. Like, I love the idea of wireframing for people. And I bought Delia Monk's course, and I think it's amazing. I can't, like, I open the software and I'm like, nope. And I close the software and I'm like, I'm going back to what I know, where I'm comfortable. If someone can show me, like, set up my templates, I could probably do it. Just like Elementary, like, because I did my own site, and it's certainly far from perfect, but I like it. You know what I mean? So I've had some other people come in and fix things for me that I did poorly, but that would exhaust me to use both the graphic design side of my brain and the other sides. So I think that's so cool that you can do both. I think that's such a cool differentiator.
Well, I found that it works best together because I used to work for a marketing agency, and I was a copywriter and strategist, and there was someone else who did web design. There was someone else who did graphic design. And it was such just a huge shift in my brain to have to just write and then sort of give a vision to the person that was designing it. And I found, if either I can't express what I'm trying to say well enough, it's not working. Like, it just does better if I can at least.
Creative direction is hard.
Yeah.
It's so hard. And I've worked as a traffic manager in a design agency where I was also sort of the copywriter. And the funny thing is what I did for years and years, probably 15 plus years, was copywriting. And I didn't know it because it was just part of my job.
Yeah.
But yeah, like translating that to someone and making sure that they're picking up what you're putting down is hard.
It is.
It's really challenging. So I think it's doubly cool. And I think that's something too that clients really value, because it's like, cool, so you're going to do this for me, and then I go take it to the designer. So I love partnering with designers who we can sit down at the beginning, lay out the so that I think that's so cool. I'm going to say that probably 6 times. So cool. That's about as well as I can express myself today. Speaking of being able to translate the vision. What are words anyway?
Who needs them?
I think it's words. But so you're also a podcaster on top of all of this.
Yes. I have, I think I've done 7 episodes. In addition to procrastinating, I've noticed that consistency is a challenge for me, and time. I mean, I have a lot going on, but
1 or 2 things.
Yeah, just 1 or 2 things. But yeah, I started the podcast. I love podcasts. I listen to them all the time. And I really feel like when you find people that you enjoy listening to, or you just you get to know them. So I thought, I think this will be a good way to not just, sometimes I just like to talk and get things off my chest. Like, surely I'm not the only one dealing with toddlers and, working and all these things. So I just thought, let's start this podcast and see where it goes.
So you're 7 episodes in.
Yes.
Are you doing all the editing yourself too? Are you? Oh my gosh. So I like, my hat's off to you. First of all, my friend Pam and I started one about a year ago, actually, and we were doing really well. And we're like, you know what? Neither one of us wants to edit, so we're not going to. And we started out by doing it live, much like this, actually. And then we'd publish it. And then we did like 13 episodes, and we were super consistent. Sometimes we'd get like 3 out in a day. Sometimes we'd, schedule ahead. And then like summer hit, and we both had little kids. I mean, her kids are roughly the same ages as ours. And then she found out she was having another one.
Ooh.
So we had 13 great episodes, and then we were kind of like, we'll revisit this. And we still haven't. Fun fact. But then it was like December. A friend of mine put out in her Facebook group that she has 70,000 people in her group. She's like, I'm offering this thing. It's pay to play, but it was like, all I had to do was show up live in the group. I could go up to like 7 times a week if I wanted to. And I was like, well, that's really cool. I can't do 7 times. That would make me crazy. That's too much, but I can do 3. And then as I was figuring it out, I was like, oh, well, I can go live there. I might as well push it out at the same time to my Facebook page, as well as her Facebook group, to LinkedIn, which is where I think a lot of people find me and watch it on, and YouTube, which I have 12 subscribers. So that is not a huge selling point yet, but it will be. And it's just another place to put out the content and share it from. And I'll tell you what, like, I love the live factor, because there's no stress. There's no, like, if you say something dumb, you say something dumb. If it's absolutely horrible, we can always pull it down.
Yeah.
And if not, like, so what? It's out there. It's just like a normal conversation. And the other side of it is that I love talking to people, just like you said. And I always love doing coffee conversations. So why not publish it? Why not make it live? And there's always so many cool nuggets that
That's a good idea. Yeah.
and then there's no editing.
That's where I get hung up, because I'll get, inspired and say, okay, I'm going to record a podcast today, and I'll record it, and then it'll sit on the computer for 2 weeks because I won't edit it. I'll get busy, so I love the idea of going live.
It's so much fun. And then, if you run out of energy, or if you're like, and that's all I have to say about that, 5 minutes and you're done, and it takes some of the pressure off. And that's why, the first month I was like, oh, I got to come up with all these things to say. And then it's like, this is stupid. I can bring people on.
Yeah.
Like, I'm having the conversations again, like I said, anyway.
Yeah.
So why not do this? And so it was very off the cuff. It was very unplanned. And someone's commenting, and they said, I'm listening in. My internet's not great today. I hear you. My internet has also not been great lately. And it, like, people pixelate. It always seems to go out, Janda, when I am getting ready to present, like give a workshop or something. So I have this like really not pretty blue cord that hooks into my computer, and it runs all the way through my floor. And I'm like, don't trip, everyone. Safety hazard.
I apparently unplugged my internet cord yesterday. We had a plumber here working on some clogged sink drain lines. Yeah, that was fun. And he had to go in the crawl space, and I was like, oh, well, let me unplug this thing. Who knew that it like wound upstairs to the Wi-Fi thing? And I'm like, why can't I get on?
We'll do it.
Yeah, figured it out. What would we do without internet?
We moved into this house, and we're so excited because it's been 18 months now. We're like, wow, there are outlets in every room. This is amazing. It's going to be great. We got in, and when the gal came to hook it up, she's like, someone cut all of these cords. There is like one that goes.
No.
And we couldn't find it. We were looking and looking and looking. We finally found one. And so, like, if you go down, there's like single wires. And it's just like, why?
Who would do that?
Who would do that? And so, yeah, now the previous owners, if they see this, they'll be like, oh, sorry, we didn't know. But just, it's crazy. So we have one outlet. And so now we're trying to figure out, okay, how can we this?
Oh yeah, the joys of home ownership.
Yes, but that's like my biggest complaint, like my only complaint. Otherwise, it is our dream house, pretty much. Awesome. It would just be nice if it was on a beach in Florida, or Costa Rica, or.
My goal is to one day have a house down there.
You said you're from there originally?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I grew up there, and now I live in Tennessee.
Oh, okay. So Nashville was an easy yes for you.
It was about a 2.5-hour drive, so not bad at all.
So my Tennessee geography is terrible, but where are you?
East of Nashville. I'm in Chattanooga.
Okay, so you are closer to the Atlanta side of things.
About an hour and a half north of Atlanta.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's a really happening place.
That's what I hear. And it's, Nashville caught me off guard. It was so, like, all the tall buildings around where we were. I was like, this is not what my mental picture was. I don't know what it was, but it was not this. It was kind of like when I was in Dallas. It was all shiny and new, and there were no old buildings. And someone pointed out, they're like, no one wanted to live here till there was AC.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's an interesting point. But Chattanooga is such a different vibe, I bet, than Nashville.
Yeah.
Appalachian. I never say that word right.
I don't say it right either.
I have no idea.
It's really outdoor. We call it like a big small town because, like, I've been here now, I guess, about 17 years, which is the longest I've lived in one place. So I've gotten to, and all my family moved up here. So I've gotten to the point where, like, people know your mama, like, oh, how's your mama doing? That's like the Southern, you're established somewhere. Oh, she's good. But then I can go downtown and, there's tons of people moving here, tons of new businesses. And so I like it.
Exciting.
It's a good place.
So these always wind off like strange places with conversations, and I end up in left field, and I'm going, how did we get here? Where were we originally going? But bringing it back, you work with small businesses primarily. Is there? That's totally fine.
I feel like I've really gained good traction with more solopreneurs, consultants, healthcare providers. I worked in healthcare marketing for a while, so I met a lot of physicians and nurse practitioners. And nurse practitioners are really, really booming with either starting their own practices, or I have a friend who's a nurse practitioner. She's starting sort of a side thing, and I'm helping her. So I feel like I love to help people who help people. Because you can really they have such a passion for what they do, and you can really hone in on, okay, how can we bring that to life? How can we show that in your brand?
I like that too. And my approach has been like, we all are doing what we do to pay the mortgage.
Yeah.
If we were, if we won the lottery tomorrow, would we still do the same thing? Maybe, maybe not, but we wouldn't do it probably quite on the same scale. But it's like, but the people who would still choose to do something similar out of a passion for helping, like, I think that's who I really like to help as well. And as I don't know what the word is, but it just make the world a better place. Give everyone a puppy. Be Oprah.
Love that. maybe a trained puppy, because I got a puppy for Christmas and she's 5 months old and I love her so much, but oh my goodness.
It's like a newborn child.
It's harder than a newborn, I think. It's harder.
So my dog passed away when my daughter was 1, and I was like, I'm never getting another dog. Lucy was the best. And that was when Campbell started to throw food on the floor. And I was like, so we're getting another dog. I miss this. My husband was gone all the time, and it was just me with the 2 little kids. And it was like, I need the dog to help. Which, let me tell you something about my housekeeping skills. I don't know. But I was like, maybe there's a rescue, because I can't deal with a puppy. I can't deal with a baby and a puppy. I just know like that will be my breaking point. So I was looking for golden doodles for rescues, and my dog popped up, and he is like German Shepherd Hound. There is no doodle anywhere near this dog, but it was like, hello, I need a home. And it was like, oh, and he's been the best dog, and he was potty trained. He was potty trained. Like, I think that's, yeah.
Yeah. We had a little Shih Tzu, and she was almost 15 and she passed away. So I completely forgot the puppy phase. And so we actually got an Aussie Doodle.
Oh.
And cute as she can be, but yeah, she's definitely a puppy.
And I feel like Aussies are puppies for a while. Lou that's what she was. She was, well, we'll never know, but we think she was an Aussie Chow mixed. And just the cutest little teddy bear face ever. And a lot of work. So I want to see puppy pictures. You'll have to send them to me. But so we're talking about you again. I wanted to back to you away from my dog story. What is it that you wish everyone knew about working with you? Or what is it that you wish everyone knew about branding that you feel like you're always the misconception you're always trying to overcome?
Oh, that's a really good question. I think when people think of branding and marketing, they just think that we just make things pretty. I used to have a job where they were like, oh, can you just make this pretty? I'm like, yes, but to me, again, the artist in me, there's a deeper connection, a deeper meaning. It's not just about making something look good. It's about really bringing out your story so you can connect with people.
Like, and what is the purpose behind it?
Yes.
Why are we doing this thing anyway?
Yes. I don't know that at first glance people realize that there is so much, I guess, even psychology that goes into branding.
Yeah, there really is. There really is. And I think it really is. How do you make people feel?
Mhm.
But and people, even even my very, very left-brained people, they all wanna make people feel good, but
Mhm.
it's like, what aspect of that?
Mhm.
What is it? And so then they dig down, and it's like, "I didn't know I had feelings," and it's like, "Yes, yes, you do."
Yes,
Everyone has feelings, you just may express them a little differently.
exactly. Yes, and that's what I like to do. I like to be the person that helps them express it, that brings it out, expresses it. And what I like to say, and the reason I named my company Wild Brand is because I want, to me, like I like to think of, okay, where's my favorite place? Where am I just myself? And that's the beach. I can just go wild. I can not wear makeup, don't brush the hair for a week, just sitting out on the beach. And I think when you can get down to the core of where am I myself, that is when you can really bring out and go wild, if you will. And not like wild and crazy, like a wild animal. And you're
Not like spring break, but
not
like
like spring break in New York City, no. Like a flamingo in the wild, and you're like, "Oh, I'm just being myself, eating my shrimp, hanging out. This is who I am. I got my people around me." And yeah, so that's kind of
is that on your website? Is that part of your brand story? Okay.
mhm,
I was
mhm.
gonna say it needs to be if it's not
Yes.
there.
Yes, I like to say I help you find your flamingo.
Love it. Well, so, where can people go to find you? I had jandawhite.com popped into the comments. Do we also need to do wildbrandcreative.co?
We.com. Yeah, we
Okay.
can. I've got a link from, like we talked about earlier. I've been figuring out how to merge the two. And so on jandawhite.com, I actually put a page with some links on how to get to Wild Brand
Lovely.
Creative if people want to work for me. And I also put together one of the things that a lot of people struggle with are brand photo shoots.
Yes.
Getting the right, it's hard if you haven't done one or if you don't think about all the things that go into them, how to get the right pictures for your website or for your brand. So I just put together a little checklist that people can go to jandawhite.com/magic, and they can get access to just a little PDF download of a checklist. You can help you figure out, okay, what do I want to wear? Where do I want to go? Indoor, outdoor, just all those things. And with some spaces to write notes as you're looking for photographers and all those things. So
I love it. When I popped it up on the screen, I don't know if you can see that too, but, it's there so you can pop in and we'll add it to the comments in the live broadcast everywhere that we are. So I will be going to download that very shortly. So thank you. I need to go get some new brand photos done. I love the ones that are there, but they're 3 years old and it's time to get a new round.
yeah, I do too. I've been waiting. I'm trying to grow my hair out a little bit. We were talking about hair earlier. I'm trying to update the look a little bit before I get some.
I have been saying that for a while, so I think I just need to go for it and then do more. Like just
Yeah,
keep refreshing it periodically. So
probably right about that. I should do that too.
well, thank you. Thank you so much for joining me. This has been so much fun. I want to continue the conversation soon. And I'm going to go ahead and hit pause here and then we can chat in a moment off